Rascal, you can't tell what anything really is until it's in your face. And the music sounds like that it was meant for the Super Nintendo, not the PlayStation.
It certainly is colder outside than it used to be. Perhaps I should have learned that I need a thicker coat. Anyhow, it's Christmas time, and as an adult, I humbug the very thought. With time running out, I feel an obligation to get to work straight away on reviewing yet another game from when I was just a 7-year-old boy. Rascal. But I'm not here to tell you about how bad the game is, because it's actually good.
You must cease this review at once!
Who are you?
Do you not recognize your own brother and business partner?
Suppose now that you mention it.
I have been sent here from the beyond to pay a penance for my life of giving good games bad reviews, and to warn you that if you give this wretched game a good rating, then it is you who will pay the price.
Well, may I offer you some coffee? Perhaps some tea?
No! I'm still dead, you idiot!
Then perhaps I shall offer you nothing more than a change of heart.
Watch how quickly the game devolves.
But watch how they increase the suspense.
Right here. Do you see that gun right there? Remember that weapon. Now we have this awful model of a 70-year-old scientist boiling Mountain Dew, mumbling in tongues.
Perfect segue to our protagonist, Rascal, or as the instruction manual calls him, Callum Rascal Clockwise.
And boy, does he look like a douchebag.
The room goes dark because of a disturbance in the lab, and then suddenly...
The intro doesn't even explain what triggered the alarm. Was it him or the bad guy?
Rascal was running to the lab to see what's going on, so it's not him that triggered it, it was obviously the other guy.
What's the deal with the aliens? They're super random and never show up in the actual game!
I actually have no idea. Best I can figure is that perhaps they were scrapped from the game, but I rightfully can't defend that.
Not only that, but then they randomly change from large to small. Then one of them gets totally smoked on that clearance. But yet, there are 2 aliens still chasing Rascal.
Again, as far as the aliens are concerned, I'll admit that it was a little confusing, but they don't affect the game at all.
Then he makes it into his father's lab, and oh my god, what is that thing?
That is Chronon, master of time and space.
Why does he have tentacles? And why is he kidnapping the scientist in his time machine if he can already travel through time? See that? Allow me to summarize. Chronon, master of all time and space, who can already travel through time, goes to present-day United Kingdom, I assume. I'm not sure where Rascal lives. And kidnaps a scientist to steal his plans for a time machine. Even though, clearly, the time machine is already fully functional.
You will be visited by 3 spirits. The first will come at the strike of 1. The second, the following evening. The third, shortly thereafter. That is all I will say for now. I have to journey back to the great beyond.
Don't understand. It must have been a tragic dream. No spirits here. Oh, Casey. You're just as wrong in death as you were in life. Well, back to the game. Get back to reviewing Rascal.
Where do you think you're going?
Who are you?
I'm the ghost of Christmas Past. I've come to show you the stages of what has already been to help you understand the errors in your words and ways. Do you remember playing Rascal as a child? Do you remember the frustrations not knowing where to go or what to do?
No, not entirely. I can't say that I have.
Grab my arm. I shall take you through castles, temples, lawless towns, lands on top of hungry oceans, and ships of ill reprieve.
So immediately, when you start playing the game, what's the first thing that you notice?
I noticed that the graphics are actually pretty damn good for the PlayStation.
Really? It's not the floaty controls?
The controls are responsive. Rascal's momentum's a little bit much, but I know how to get used to that again.
What about how they throw you into the game with no explanations as far as how anything works or what you're supposed to do?
Most PS1 era games work that way. Tutorials weren't the norm until at least PS2.
What about the save portals? Most people show that their controller isn't connected instead of a save screen.
I've never personally had that problem, so I'm not really sure what to say.
And look at these doors. Are these characters in the game hobbits?
If they were hobbits, the doors would be circular.
What is that supposed to be? A seal's space?
Weird, right? That's what threw me off the first time I played, too. These are time bubbles that our titular hero must travel through. Not unlike Crash Bandicoot Warped, a really good game, released later that same year. The object in each level is to collect 6 timepieces, so that Rascal can come back home while restoring the past at the same time.
This is some of the shittiest combat I've ever seen in a video game. They literally just swing at the air until they're standing on your shoes.
Well, it's more focused on the adventure than the combat. This part right here is a beginner's trap. I have seen countless reviewers and players walk straight through this tunnel, go past the lava pits just to fight the dragon. Do you know what that does? It awards you an extra life. It's not important, and you don't have to do it. So instead, just go to the beginning of the tunnel, collect the key, turn around, and leave. That's all you have to do. Also, yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with the fat shirtless guy. Let's just move on. So we arrive first at Castle Past, or more specifically, Castle Hack-A-Lot. Beating this level separates the men from the boys. This level is filled with traps and tricky platforms to give you a premier look at what you'll be in for. Collecting keys and timepieces is the name of the game.
Wow, I never realized how sexy this game is. Look, another shirtless man.
The water is pretty inconsistent. Some water you can swim in, while others spell death. The only way to tell is to look and see if there are fish swimming at the surface.
Where is the king? Did he leave to take a dump?
Chronon displaced him. See, that's a big part of the story. He displaced many key figures in each time period.
These controls are like trying to control a remote control toy car. And then they expect me to have to jump across platforms?
Yeah, the controls are kind of a force to be reckoned with, but as you play, you begin to get used to them. And there is a timepiece, and there is an extra life. In this part of the level, I always found myself kind of hugging the wall so I didn't run off the platform. But then we get to the red door, and the level is over! So when you get back to the house, you actually have an option. You can go back through the door that you went through the first time and go to level 6, which is Castle Present, or you can take the blue key and go to Aztec Past.
I like how the enemies can get stuck so easily. Also, there's no curve in difficulty. They all die in 6 hits.
Yeah, fair enough. The enemies do leave much to be desired, especially knowing that they were made by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Anyway, another beginner's trap here. Most reviewers I know took the deadly slide in level 2, but let me show you an easier way around that.
Just when you thought this game was the shittiest game you've ever played, they put in a water section. I'd rather breathe through my nose underwater than play these sections.
Water levels are never the most popular portion of most games, but Rascal usually puts them in reasonable intervals, and the controls are inverted but responsive.
Look at all those hot cheese pizzas.
That's funny that you mentioned that. Do you remember those square pizzas that you used to get in school cafeterias? That's exactly what these fire pits remind me of. There's no depth, so it really does look like a bubbling hot cheese pizza. I don't know why, but I remember climbing up the sunflower and I thought it was a beanstalk, so I really did think it would go a little bit higher.
So now you can touch the water and not die? This game has no consistency, man.
This water does look deadly, but this part would be nearly impossible if the water could kill you. Props to the mercy rule.
So I'll admit that this level is pretty gorgeous for the PS1.
Graphics and music do not make a game great. But I mean, come on, you have to stand in awe at what some of these stages can do for your sense of wonder. We have arrived at the wondrous Atlantis, before it was swallowed by the ocean.
Every level just follows their own rules. So why do you grab pearls instead of keys?
Well, you said it yourself. This game bases its ideas on themes. In Atlantis, everything is ocean-based, so it makes sense that pearls and clams would be your key to entry.
Oh, real nice. I'm glad this game is rated E for everyone. Peas.
It's pretty weird how it's a statue of Rascal. Makes me wonder who built it. Something I should mention about Atlantis is that it's pretty hard for beginners. It really is a test to see if you've mastered the control system. Many of the platforms are above deadly waters, so you really do need to know what you're doing. According to the instruction manual, this guy's name is Armando Giletti. I don't know why I'm even mentioning that, I just think it's a thing. Alright, sorry for wasting your time.
You know, the music is pretty nice, but the slide sections where you're evading giant meatballs makes me both hungry and angry.
It's a little bit overused, but level 2 had the most difficult section, and every level that includes one after the fact, they take it easy on the player. There's these random blue platforms throughout the level. If you step on them, it raises one of these platforms up here in this section, and then the red one controls whether they move or they stop.
What's with all the random critters?
1, to get you moving into the next room, and 2, to farm for health. But be careful, some can drop poison.
They play chess just like in Harry Potter? You're a wizard, Rascal.
Yeah, pretty random. Since we're playing Rascal in a linear fashion, our next stop is the Jolly Raiders pirate ship.
I know they probably thought that rocking the ship back and forth was a good idea, but coupled with the awful cameras, I think I'm going to...
You just ralphed all over the floor next to the trash can. Nice!
For being pirates, they sure don't know how to fight.
Yeah, the combat on the pirate ship kind of sees a new low, I guess.
There's quicksand on this ship. Why?
Oh my god. Sure, what else were you expecting? Rowers? Storage? Give me a break. Quicksand.
Crabs and parrots on a pirate ship? How douchey is this game?
I mean, if you're gonna stay themed, stay themed. What else are you expecting? The Addams Family? Oof, these exploding TNTs really threw me off the first time I played this level, because they look exactly like the keys from the last level, so it makes you think you can collect them, but they're actually going to damage your health. And we finally made it to Dodge City. We're in the Old West now.
You know it's a good game when there's a guy shooting a rifle at a defenseless little kid.
Well, you know what they say, when you show up with a bubble gun, you better know how to use it.
What's with all the damn quicksands?
It's evidently a cemetery. I mean, so what were you expecting? Tombstones and... Okay, yeah, this joke's getting old.
Look at this depressed bartender. He's like, just fucking kill me.
Kinda does make you wonder what happens to the present after you get rid of all these people from the past. Right?
Is this supposed to be a mine? What? Check the map. Oh my, Joe! You got to be kidding me! I've seen better maps on MapQuest.
You'll never really need to use the maps in the game at all, unless you just want to know what the level is called. That's pretty much it.
This game is even worse than I remember. Please turn it off.
My time has come to leave you. You must take with you my message and understand what you need to do.
For you, Spirit, I share my bitter condolences, for my mind was made up for your behest for me to change.
My warning has fallen like dust onto your clothes.
Is that what the shit is on my jacket?
Await your next visitor. Farewell.
Look upon me and behold my festive llama sweater. It is I, the ghost of Christmas present. Instead of enjoying the holidays with loved ones, you have confined yourself to this room, playing a game you say is good, but you should know better. Graphics do not make a good game, a term perhaps you are familiar with.
How dare you use my own words against me? Is there no redemption for a game created by the damned? I'll have you know, I was visited by your predecessor last night, and I stand by my opinion!
Foolish man, I am not here to dwell in the past, only to show you the present. Levels. Perhaps then you will understand.
So you finish the 5th level, and where do you go next? Well, first you'll likely check the worthless map, only to realize that you have to go back to one of the levels you've already finished. That unfamiliar-looking bubble is the present version of Castle Hackalot.
Ah, yes, standard tax-funded museum, empty display cases, laser guns, lava pits, radioactive superpower-giving arachnids, John Wick's dog, bread on a pedestal. At least this is here.
One has to admit that taking the same levels and shifting them through different time periods is a pretty awesome idea.
Ah, yes, an obligatory dip in the museum pool. Seems more like an aquarium to me.
Here's where, in the past version of this level, we would have fought the dragon. This time there's a timepiece. Don't know why they filled it with water. Kinda cool how they made statues of the occupants of the old castle. This is in no way, shape, or form going to totally creep me out later. So it was closing time at the museum, but with a simple flip of the switch, we can bring everything back to life.
It has been said that he who grabs this sword from the stone will be escorted off the premises.
Is that statue a robot? Or a zombie? Okay, they're just robots. Thank God. Rascal, don't shoot the security guards, they're just doing their job.
Looks like this guy's on the night shift.
Seriously, they made a shirtless statue of this guy? I'm just thankful he's not a robot.
All museum security guards are bastards.
No museum is complete without their signature museum evil spirits.
Ghostly apparition. Will this wallet, will it one day be full?
If the present is not changed, I see an empty wallet where the shadows of monetization lie. There are millions of content creators who deserve to make more money than a sorry insect like yourself.
You must really have to log in a lot of hours to figure out the logarithm of this part, huh? Little known fact, this is the first ever level to use shading completely and have no light at all. And just like cyberpunk graphics on last gen, it was unobtainable. For having a water part in every level, you'd think he'd grab some swim trunks from his house.
So they made the present version of Aztec Past into a lumberyard. Huh, that's pretty deep, I think.
Is this Underwater Sorry? Or Twister for victims of the mob? Looks like chess for kids taught in portables to me. I am now going to hold my breath for as long as I am entertained by water levels. Oh, God.
I think they did a pretty amazing job with this level. This is Atlantis present after it was lost to the oceans.
Can his bubble gun, not make breathable bubbles? That's a serious question. Looks like Poseidon really let this place go. Good thing it was lost.
Right? But you do have to admit the underwater effects in this game are on point.
We are now witnessing the fall of Atlantis. Watch this awesome battle play out before us. Isn't it sweet?
So according to what I read on Google, Atlantis sank into the ocean in 9600 BC. Armando Giletti was alive in the past version of Atlantis. So you're trying to tell me this dude's like 10,000 years, or rather 11,600 years old?
Ah, yes, another underwater level. More like Finding Story, am I right? And now we are playing Rascal. Sorry. It's really hard to believe that this ship full of bombs did not stay intact. Aha! The ice wall! Take that, Sphere Earthers! Well, I reckon there ain't enough rolls in this town for the two of us, partner. Well, we've finally made it to Hollywood. Time to call the parents for money.
So naturally the Old West level becomes Hollywood in the present day.
Ah, it's Licensing Conflicts 2! Electric Boogaloo!
Yes, the Godzilla Raptor is an excellent concept for a game like this. The Hollywood level is one of my favorites, as each door leads to a new movie set. Take this one, for instance, as mobsters with Tommy guns try to take me out. Everyone wants me dead in this damn game.
Why, yes, Harvey Weinstein, I'd do anything for a spot in your movie. See, this is what Ted Kaczynski was talking about, am I right? That was the Unabomber. If you've been playing this game, you should know a thing or two about bombs, am I right?
Are they not elements which make this game whole? Look beneath my robe. They are your children, born through the tongue of those who choose to relinquish them to the minds of those who listen. Their names are Traitorous Camera and Tank Controls. Beware of them, for upon their brow is written the word Doom. They spell the downfall of you and all reviewers who deny their existence.
But I've covered them.
They have been covered, but they live.
Let me just take a wild guess. You must be the third spirit. Are you the spirit of Christmas yet to come, perhaps? Come to show me the future levels, have you, spirit? Or perhaps you've come to cast ridicule upon my opinion, drag my credibility through the muck. So be it then. Get on with it, Spirit. Let's just get this over with.
The future levels, while amazing looking, are merely boss fights with Chronon. Potential is wasted here, as I would have loved to have played through futuristic levels, or at least have fought bosses that matched the theme of each setting, but no. We instead got treated to the same boss for all 5 futures. Again, I love the idea of seeing these places at the supposed end of time, but to me, they should have set this up to where perhaps you can fight a dragon, or a superpowered knight in the castle, an Apache demigod in the Aztec ruins. You get the idea. Something different. Chronon only has so many attacks, from the Flame of Time, to the Hourglass, to throwing sundials. His heart is shown as black because you want to show him just how cold and black his still beating heart is before he dies. A word of advice, if you didn't stock up on lives up to this point, then you are SCREWED screwed. There are no extra lives after the present levels. Rascal's best point of attack is to run in a circle and then stop and shoot as Chronon's defense shield goes down. Rinse, lather, you know how to wash your damn hands. Finally, after defeating him 5 times, you return home to find a gray key. The 16th and final level in the game is located in the garden and is the Corridors of Time. Now it is more important than ever that you have the platforming mastered in this game, as if you show up with no lives and you fall, you go back. You can, however, show up with your bubble gun completely empty, as your ammo is technically unlimited. The only difference is that a full gun shoots much better, and the empty gun shoots sad blue bubbles. The red gun is for homing bubbles, which can track down your enemies. You're welcome for those of you who are wondering when I was going to mention this. I guess the Corridors of Time counts as fulfilling my request for multiple bosses. I would have done this differently, but that's okay. And to finish off the game, you guessed it, one more fight with the Master of Time himself, Chronon. This time atop an hourglass. In most heroic tales, the hero gets the girl. But I guess in this one, the hero gets his dad back. Here's the ending. Enjoy.
What are you gonna do, Spirit? Are you gonna show me my headstone? Everybody dies. Heed your advisement, I will not! I must embrace the flame of life, just as I must embrace the dust of death. I will not concede! Rascal is a good game, with a couple of flaws. The potential is there, and it's just a damn shame they couldn't make a sequel, or they couldn't do a remake. I was told that the tank controls destroyed the game, but what about the likes of Tomb Raider? And then I was told that the bad camera destroyed the game as well. What about the likes of Resident Evil? See the game for what it is and formulate your own opinion. I see the game as being flawed, but a damn good game anyway. If this is to be the death of my credibility, then so be it. Ghost of Christmas Future, vanquish me!